And we back. Part two, I guess. I don't know, bro. I've been off work, so I'm just shooting content now. Just shooting content, trying to up the ammo pool. Yeah, I need clips, ammo. I had another video I want to talk about, man. Let me find it. Ain't no see if I can find it. I know where it said. I just pull it up. Give me a second to. Or never mind. We can refresh our memories together. All of this really be off the dome. Like, truthfully, I just be speaking my heart. Like, that's how organic I am with it. I just be speaking my heart.
How much of life is literally just about finding the right balance between chasing meaning and chasing freedom, and how you quite literally cannot have both? Now, I'm going to use basketball to explain this, but this is obviously a million times bigger
I
than
like this. Y'all
basketball.
pay
Like, this is the
attention,
central
please.
tension in
Yep.
relationships. This is why people gravitate so hard to the military or religion. Like, this is kind of everything, but just bear with me while I explain what I mean first. So let's start by thinking about what it looks like to pursue freedom at the expense of meaning. And I think Kevin Durant is a great illustration of this, where he's somebody who hopped from team to team, trying to put himself in the best situation that he could. And because of this, he was able to win a few rings, but those rings and his career in general are kind of devoid of any meaning, right? Because he never stuck around anywhere to build anything that was bigger than himself. So when you think about Kevin Durant, you only think about Kevin Durant. You don't think about any specific team. You don't think about any specific moment. He was just kind of there, floating around, being really good at basketball, but that's it. Now, on the other side of this coin is Damian Lillard, right? This is someone who tried to pursue meaning at the expense of freedom. He stuck around with the Portland Trailblazers as they continued to struggle, and he continued to keep himself in a bad situation because if they ended up winning a ring, it would have been a million times more meaningful than the rings that Kevin Durant won, right? It would have cemented his legacy. But that's the risky thing about trying to pursue meaning. He failed. And because of that, all he ended up doing was wasting his time where he could have won, sure, a less meaningful ring somewhere, but a ring nonetheless. And as we're going to get to, it is no coincidence that he left his wife at around the same time that he left the Portland Trailblazers. Now, someone who ended up striking this balance perfectly was LeBron James, right?
Yep.
This is someone who tried to make it work at Cleveland. It wasn't going to work, so he left to Miami, got some meaningless rings, and instead of continuing to ring chase and probably gathering like fucking 7 or 8 rings, he goes back to Cleveland to try to continue to build something that was bigger than himself. And through that self-sacrifice and through that loyalty, the ring that he ended up winning for Cleveland became one of the most meaningful rings of all time, right? And that is the payoff of pursuing meaning and it actually working out. Now, this is very much related to a dilemma that a lot of young people face when they're trying to figure out how they want to navigate their romantic lives, where you could be like Future and never be dedicated to one specific person, and that way you never get heartbroken, you never run the risk of wasting your time on the wrong person, and you get to live a life of complete freedom. But the primary consequence is that you are never really building anything meaningful. There's no meaningful relationship and there's no meaningful family that you can end up looking back on and being proud of that you sacrificed yourself and you dedicated yourself to building.
So just to sum that up, he was basically comparing um KD and Future, where basically their whole goal was winning. Future goal was winning with women, and KD's goal was winning rings. But they were so drawn into winning that things that they got came with no meaning. Future was so invested in having so many women that none of them end up with any meaningful relationships. So you can't really say Future and this girl. I mean, you can say Sierra because that's probably the most well known, but there's no Future relationship. There's always Future and baby mothers. And same thing with KD. KD doesn't have a team. When you think of KD, you don't think of KD when he played for the Boom. You think, okay, KD when he played for OKC was really good. He won MVP. Then you think, oh, well, KD when he played for the Warriors really good. They won rings. And then KD when he played for Brooklyn, he tried to win it by himself. But it's never a clear, defined moment in their career that makes them. Like there's nothing in Future's dating history that was meaningful. There's nothing on KD's career that's meaningful.
Now, the alternative is that you try to live like LeBron, right? Who could have done whatever the fuck he wanted, but he decided that he was going to dedicate himself to one person and dedicate himself to building this family at the expense of
My
his
bad.
freedom. And because of how much freedom he sacrificed in order to build this, this family has become a part of his legacy, right? It's kind of a big reason why he's the GOAT. He's kind of just the GOAT at life because he's just sacrificed so much of his freedom to build something meaningful. Now, it's really easy to say that you would much rather be in LeBron's position than Future's at the age of 40. But the thing is that getting to LeBron's position is incredibly risky, right? Because you might just sacrifice all of this time and all of this freedom for something that ends up falling apart or something that ends up not being worth it. And this happens all the time, right? People sacrifice their freedom in the name of something bigger, whether it be religion, whether it be military, whether it be a job or a relationship. And then they look back on it and it wasn't worth it. And they have to live with that regret and the lost time for the rest of their lives. And they're thinking, like, I could have just been fucking around. And it's not that the fucking around is better than building a family, but it might be better than wasting your time. And that's why this decision is genuinely difficult because you don't know what's going to happen. But you just got to take the leap of faith. So that's all.
And so this relates to me. I feel like I have a lot of connection with this. I connect a lot with this. Jesus, I've been speaking backwards all day today. Yoda. But so I scored really, really high on ASVAL. I had recruiters from every branch asking me to come join, blah, blah, blah. But I was betting at the time on music. I thought music was my way out. I thought I had it figured out. And I could have been a military man and stuck with the military, followed something, followed the system, believed in the system. But I felt like what I would have made out of it wouldn't have been meaningful. But I love music. I still do love music, actually. I always say if I had the time and the money to sit down and make music like I wanted to, I'd probably start back doing it and just send it around to my friends. But um, that's something that was way more meaningful. It had way more value to me. So do I feel like I lost or I feel like I wasted time? Never, because I did something I enjoyed. This is my little brother's theory of riding roller coasters. Why ride a roller coaster if I'm going to end off at the same spot? Granted, in sense that makes sense. Oh wow, why would I spend X amount of dollars to go around in a circle and come back down to the same spot? I'm not going anywhere. But he's looking at it for transportation, whereas me, I'm looking at it as the enjoyment. So yeah, I may have tried music, and I may have thought this was something for me, and I ended in the same spot that I started off in. But the journey through music was way more meaningful than a bus ride would have been to take me to my next stop. I could have been in the military, but it would have took me somewhere that wouldn't have been for me, and it wouldn't have been meaningful. And that's the same thing with life. It's just a balance of life of doing something meaningful or doing something valuable. I don't know if valuable is the term. Let's take a look at what he used. He used the term freedom, meaningless and freedom. Okay, I don't know. I don't freedom. His freedom. What was he talking about? Referring to freedom. Oh, KD referring to freedom, just hopping from things to things. He was free to do whatever he want. Chase the goal. With meaningful, you sat down, you ironed it out. And I still believe if I would have made music or just got some type of recognition for it, I would have enjoyed that way more than whatever would have came from the military. So I could have went to the military, got out in a couple years, got another job, made some money, put some money together, blah blah blah, and would have just had money with nothing I really had to show for, honestly. Like, and I seen nothing. I don't mean anything physical. Like, I probably could have bought a car, a house, whoop de whoop, wouldn't be in this apartment. But at my core, would I have something meaningful? And last episode, we talked about what healing looks like. Now I'm going to ask you, what is meaningful to you? Because I've seen a lot of money in my life. A lot, actually. A lot. A lot. Um, I got paid to go to school. I had a job at school, and I had another job outside of school. was living in my mom's house. Mom didn't expect me to pay no bill. So I'm getting refund checks, stacking. I had a car already, and I was paying. I was about paid off already. Didn't have to pay insurance, no phone, no bills. All I had to worry about was putting food in my mouth, gas, and upkeep on my car, and my car note. Car note was like $200. I was making that at my little work job in a week. Money, seen it, had it, so much money, and I lost it all. Frankly, lost every bit of it. Um, but it was meaningful. And I'll never look back on it and be upset or sad. Like, and that's probably the reason I am the way I am today. Like, I've had it all. I've had the love, I've had what I thought was the love of my life leave me. I've had money leave me. I've had health leave me. I had friends leave me. All of it left, gone, poof, goodbye. But they were all meaningful. I was building something with all of these and lost them all. But at the same time, even though I did lose it, it meant more for me to have it in that moment than to never have it at all. The friendships that I lost, we don't talk, but I learned a lot in them years. I learned who I was. I learned where I fell in the hierarchy and friendships. I learned love from a friend. And I learned what it was like to blindly trust somebody and things not really work out the way you want them to work. Those are meaningful lessons that I will never, I can't put a dollar sign on them. Then we can talk about love. I lost what I thought at the moment was love of my life. But the moments we had together, hey, can't complain. I enjoyed them. And I used to always tell myself, if I died today, would I be mad? Or would I live with any regret? J. Cole, one of my favorite J. Cole quotes is basically, I can't remember word from word, but he basically says there's nothing worse than a regret filled coffin. And it's stuck with me and it struck a nerve because it's like, that's right. I'd rather love and get hurt than never love. I'd rather make money and lose it than to be scared to make money. I'd rather have friends and lose them than to never have anybody I thought I could call a real friend. So I'm saying this to say, go chase the meaningful shit. But you can also balance it with the freedom. Don't just go around chasing what you think is best. Hear me out. Don't go chase what you think is best. Acknowledge what feels the best. And whatever feels the best, collect some of them on the way. I get it. You need money, especially in a time like this. So you might lose some things in the hustle. You might not be able to go. I got a friend. He loves history. That's his. I mean, we'll talk history all day. But there's not much money in the world of history. But money isn't a thing for him. Yeah, he wants to be able to afford, a house and blah, blah, blah. But truthfully, he's okay with whatever his history job makes him because it's meaningful to him and it means the most. And then I have another friend who's just chasing money. And it's like, you're going to pass up on so many things chasing what you feel like is meaningful because you feel like it's valuable. And I feel like freedom comes in when you find what's meaningful to you. Because, pardon me, acid reflux. it becomes a point where, say, Jesus, I forgot that fast. We was talking meaningful and freedom. Oh, so ask yourself how much money will give you freedom. Psych. It's a it's a trick question. If you're chasing a dollar amount, that dollar amount is never going to be the same. It's going to always go higher. You're going to always be chasing, and you're never truly going to have the quote unquote freedom that you're looking for. But what lifestyle are you trying to live? Now, that, sir, will help you identify where you need to be at in life. The lifestyle I want to live, I don't know how much money I need to get it, but I know what it look like. So I know what I need to work towards. I know to acquire this, acquire this, acquire this, and not, oh, if I make $1 million, I'll be here. I probably don't need to make $1 million to get there. I probably need to make $10 million to get there. I probably need to make 100,000 to get there. I might need to make 500,000 to get there. I don't know what it is, but there's a world of freedom when you're chasing things that are meaningful because there is value. But when you're chasing things for the quote unquote monetary or just to I just explain it. But if you're living like Future, you always gonna live like Future. You're gonna always chase and chase and chase and chase and chase because at a certain point it's gonna be too late to build anything meaningful. So you're gonna pull the parachute and on the way down try to grab whatever you can. Whereas the people who are chasing things a little more meaningful, it ain't so much of you might have pulled the chute a long time ago and you're just floating. But you're able to enjoy the view and see what the world looks like, where Future has to focus on grabbing things on his way down. You look up in your future and you're 40 years old, no meaningful relationships, and this is what you have to do for the rest of your life, where, let's just say, I don't know, Dame. See, Dame didn't know when to bail. Dame didn't know when things, oh, let's put a pin. We'll come back to the Dame thing. Let's compare it back to LeBron, where LeBron was chasing things that were a little more meaningful, but he also knew to keep his freedom in mind. So he jumped out the plane with Future as well. He pulled the chute, but he was able to look out and see the things below. He enjoyed his descent and his age. He aged gracefully. His kids are in the league. His wife is doing what she does. He does what he does, and they just live a life that looks very, very healthy. Looks, you mind us, it looks. But you have to know when to bail on the things that you think are meaningful when they're not meaningful. Just because you sit in misery doesn't make the outcome any better. I think just because you stick around in a bad relationship because you had so much time invested doesn't make that relationship any more meaningful than the guy that you or the gal that you may meet a year from now. Because if you're sitting in something that's bad, I hate to tell you, it's going to be bad in a year from now, 2 years from now. And now some things that you got to sit in and buff out some edges because you see the diamond in the rough, and I got to get to that diamond. I'm going to shine it up, and when I shine it up, we out of here. Or you could be digging through dirt and hoping that you see a diamond off in there, and that diamond never come. So, like, I end it here, but I just want you to understand too. Certain things are gonna be meaningful, and some things are gonna grant you this world of freedom. Keep both of them in mind. Meaningful things pay out in the end. Chasing things that give you this freedom will help speed you up to the end, and you'll be at the end before you know it. Like I always tell you, man, hug somebody, love somebody. It'll change their day, it'll change yours. Like I always say, Instagram page, the apartment 158 network. Questions in the link in bio. Send them. We'll talk it up, chop it up. I give you advice from a 27-year-old that's feeling like he went through a midlife crisis already. Love you.